Hey, good morning, guys. Good to see you. Normally I go right into a song, but I was busy checking my visual here on the camera. Call out the instigators because there's something in the air. We've got to get together sooner or later because the revolution's here and you know it's right. And you know that it's right. We have got to get it together. We have got to get it together now. I had that song in my head this morning. I'm not going to do the whole thing. I need to trim my nails. I don't know why. I don't know if you guys have the same situation I have. Sorry about the camera vibrating. I still have it set up right. Just kind of looks like I'm shooting right over my head at here. But my nails seem to grow ridiculously fast. I'll clip them. I don't want to smash them on things I'm juggling. I don't want to get them all filthy and gross from soot during fire eating. I don't want to have them in the way while I'm playing the guitar. I have many reasons not to I have many reasons to maintain my nails and whatever. So I don't know if your nail. It rained up north. Mark's telling me. Does that have something to do with nail growth? No, you're talking to somebody else about something else. Good morning, guys. Good morning, Jenna. Good morning, Lewis. Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Marty. Good morning, Kelly. Who else? That's all that I see that's making their presence known. Welcome aboard Coffee with Brian on Tuesday. Good morning, Lauren. Who are we gonna? Oh, you're gonna see a few of you in Washington, from what I understand. Good morning, Brian. Good morning, Lewis. Oh, you're responding to what I said. I'm sorry. I just got back. Well, I just got back. I got back earlier last night. And here's the deal: I get off the plane every week. Every week for the past few weeks, I've been taking the bus to the airport. It's a very convenient, very affordable, very efficient bus service. And maybe you have it in your city. It's called Flyaway. It's not just an LA thing. They have them in all over the country, I think. We have it here in LA too. And it picks up at two locations. It used to pick up in three, but they got rid of them. It picks up in Van Nuys, which is not near me. Then also picks up downtown at the Union Station, our famous Craftsman style train station, which you've seen in a million movies, even whether you know it or not. So it's kind of cool. I get to kind of walk around the train station a little bit, and it's charming and nice and everything. And it's awesome, and I love taking it. I can't take it on the days when I'm hauling all my gear, but on the days when I've dropped my stuff off at a gig and now I'm just commuting back and forth to it, then it's just a carry-on bag, backpack, little backpacker guitar. And in theory, not in theory, it does. It does also pick up and return you back to Union Station if you want. It drops people off at the airport, then that same bus will do a lap of the airport, picking people up, and go right back to Union Station. And it's $10. It's nothing. It's cheap. $10. And the first time I did it a couple of years back, I did it like 4 years ago, and I liked it. I liked it right away. I kept seeing it on the road when I was driving to the airport or taking Ubers or cabs or having Maria drive me. I kept seeing this bus. I looked into it and I thought that might be the way to go. That might be the way to go. Sorry for the puffy eyes, guys. I'll leave the glasses on this morning. And I did, and I would take it, and I would go there, and then round trip, come back. Place you wait on the curb outside the airport terminal, and the bus does its little loop, picks people up, then it goes. And I did it a couple times. A little more crowded going back. I don't know why, but it is. Something to do with, I don't know. There's some reason for it. What's he got in his mouth? Oh, okay. I'm looking at a dove with a piece of material in his mouth. He's gonna go over him. We're like a dove. We're a dove sanctuary here. You've heard of bird sanctuaries where they have all the birds. We're here at Howard Sanctuary, only doves. And we have a lot of birds that hang out here, but mostly it's the doves that have decided we're going to live with these people. I'm not complaining. We don't mind it. was I saying? The bus, right. Okay, so taking the flyaway home, a little trickier because even though it's on a schedule, it has to deal with backed up traffic. Welcome to Doves O'Brien, exactly. Backed up traffic and issues going wrong, if the airport's super congested. Up where the bus picks up and drops off at the train station, it's got its own little terminal area, it's got its own little curb you go to, it's got its own little nice little the architecture there. It's called the Pastorius Plaza. If you ever, I don't know why I'm saying that, unless you live in Southern California, you have no idea what this place is. But it's where the buses come and go to the Union Station. There, I said it. Waiting to get home, not as good, not as efficient. It's late. It has to fight its way through sometimes congested traffic in that little horseshoe thing LAX is. A lot of airports are like that. You all know that. Wherever you live, you probably have an airport that does that thing, right? It's terminal. They kind of curve like that. So the road comes in and does that. More newer airports that plan themselves a little better, it's sort of a gentle, graceful curve, like O'Hare. Airports that didn't plan it as well, like LAX, it's too congested. It's too tight. The little U is. You can walk from one side of the little U to the other in just like a minute and a half. It's small. It's tight. It's congested. It's surrounded by stuff. It's not like O'Hare out in the suburbs, which I know people who live in Chicago will tell you, and it's true. When O'Hare was first established, it was the suburbs. But let's be honest. Now it's plenty of urban stuff. The sprawl has reached it. LAX is just around the sprawl. It's just it's on all sides. It's just so. Unfortunately, and they can't do anything about it. It is what it is now. All you got to do is figure out how to travel to it easier. And they're doing all kinds of construction there. They're trying to do this before we have the Olympics in 6 years, I guess, so you can ride the metro all the way there. You used to be able to ride the metro, our train system, to a stop near the airport. Then you got on a bus and did that last little 2 miles. Who does it? Who? First of all, who plans? I've gone off on this before. I'm going to do it again real quick. As you may or may not know, Los Angeles, California had a world famous, and some would consider one of the best in the world, streetcar trolley systems ever, called the Pacific Electric, also nicknamed the Red Car. Go watch Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Okay, the background story of Who Framed Roger Rabbit is essentially the story of the red car being destroyed. And the villain in it, played wonderfully by Christopher Lloyd, was this judge, if you recall. And his premise was he wanted to tear down Toontown, and he's going to have the freeway go right there. And he describes the freeway to Eddie Valiant, played by the late, great, I forget his name. Well, you know what I'm talking about. Bob Hoskins. May he rest in peace. He explains about, the freeway. You get on the freeway, and the places where you can get off, where there'll be convenient and affordable food and hotels. And he's describing the vision of the interstate, the freeway, of which where I am currently sitting is, of course, epicenter one of the big freeway explosion in our country. And Bob, of course, Eddie Valiant says, "Why would you want to get on this freeway if you can just ride the red car for a nickel?" And if you watch that movie, there's a scene where he actually hops on the back, like the bumper of one of the trolley cars, and some other little kids get on there too. So he's kind of like gaming the system. So he's not paying his nickel, but it's meant to be a charming little moment. Anyway, that train in that scene is actually a bus with a red car. Essentially, it's the bus wearing a costume. I saw it at, I think, the Disney MGM Studios and Disney World, how they did that. There's still a few places here in LA where you can get a little bit of the charming old school red car Pacific Electric thing. There's a place called, maybe you've heard of it, if you watch a lot of Food Network shows, you've probably definitely heard of it, called Philippe's, the place that claims to have invented the French dip sandwich, which is interesting because there's another restaurant here in Los Angeles that also claims to be the people that invented the French dip sandwich. Anyway, if you go to Philippe's, all the artwork, there's little model red cars, there's trains, there's maps of the system. And it's a nice, charming step backwards because it's not actually very far from, I guess, some car barns and some places where the power was made. And of course, it's just down the street from Union Station, so it's in that same neighborhood of the city. Okay, so why am I talking about this? Oh, we're talking about the bus coming home. And I'm telling you, oh, I got distracted because I was telling you about, oh, the train, right, the train. Okay, LA has this unbelievably efficient trolley and train system, the Pacific Electric, nicknamed the Red Car, went everywhere. There's every city, every little outlying town community in the area has pictures on the wall of some diner where it shows, you know, the trolley going right down the center of the street in their main street. And it was mostly trolleys, but in a few places it was more like a modern metro system with its own right of way and stuff. You know what I mean? Okay. I'll give you another little reference to it in a second, but so it was wonderful. And there's a great doc about this out there. I don't know what it's called, but it's a great documentary about Los Angeles's the trolley system, the red car, and how it got kind of essentially bought out. The main shareholders ended up being, wait for it, General Motors, I think, and Union Oil or Standard Oil. In other words, the people that are going to make a lot of money. Bye, Mark. Make a lot of money if they could sell oil. Lucy, come here. Hey, Lucy, come here. Come here. Get over here. Excuse me. Come on. All the way over here to me. All the way to me, sweetie. I'm not mad at you. Just get over here. Lucy, come here. Stay over here. All right. Sit down. Sit down right there. How about be right here? Be right next to me. There you go. All the way down. All the way down. She can do it. Takes her a little while. She can't bend those little wrists, you know, because of her surgery. So when Lucy lays down, like a normal dog would go butt first and then like this, get their arms. She can't bend that, so she does this little weird walk down. It's kind of cute to look at, actually. Okay, so General Motors, Standard Oil bought all the stock because it went public. I don't know how a city allows that to happen. I'm sure there was some shenanigans there. I'm sure there was some political greasing of the wheels. I'm sure maybe there was a movie about that other than Roger Rabbit where they give details. There's probably a book on it. I got to look up the book now because I'm really curious about that. Long story short, the powers that be that had cars is what they wanted the city to be all about. Got controlling interest in it and shut it down. And then freeways, and now we're a city of freeways. And then, of course, they shut it down in like 1969 or something like that. And they started building the current metro in the late 80s. So they only really didn't have trains here in LA, commuter trains like that. They've always had Amtrak, of course, and stuff like that, for like 20-something years. There's only like a 20-year period where you couldn't get on a little light rail train to travel around the city. And the reason why is because they realized it was a mistake. They probably shouldn't have that. The smog and the congestion on the freeways was horrible. And people said, hey, what if we were like all the other modern cities, Washington, D.C., Baltimore, not Baltimore so much, but a little bit, Boston, Chicago, of course. It has a light rail metro system. Dallas, San Francisco has one. Come on, man. And they finally said, yeah, I guess we should have kept that. So they had to rebuild it, essentially. It currently travels over a lot of the old right-of-ways that the old Pacific Electric used to travel on. There's a popular picture which shows up whenever this issue gets brought up. If you look it up on the internet, you might find it. There's a bridge going over the Arroyo Seco, not far from where I live, in the neighborhood of Highland Park, connecting kind of South Pasadena to Highland Park. And there's a picture of one of the old Pacific Electric cars going over it, because it's been there for a while. And then black and white picture, and then there's like a modern picture of the modern present day, you know, LA Metro going over it. In other words, they kept the bridge there. The bridge was, for 20 years, was just sitting there. I guess with people probably putting graffiti on it and stuff. But here's the deal. And I know I've talked about this before, and I'm sorry I'm going off of this. It just pisses me off that the way the government sometimes gets so, I don't know, money and The doc I saw about it at the end summed it up saying that had LA, it cost them X amount of dollars to start building the metro again. Okay. They got some smart people, not me, to figure out what it would have cost to have maintained the Pacific Electric, the light rail, the one famous from Roger Rabbit and all that, from all the old movies you've seen and pictures of LA where you see the trolley going right down Hollywood Boulevard, that one, and just upgrading it over the 2 or 3 decades where it was shut down, and how much that would have cost. And of course, something like $1 billion. Los Angeles wasted $1 billion. Or something. That's a big number, but a lot of money. And here's the point I'm trying to get to. So they decide, okay, we're going to build a metro again. We're going to go back to being a city that has a light rail system. I don't know what we were thinking. That was a dumb idea to just have freeways. We thought it was going to be car culture, which it kind of is. We are, as Americans, we are essentially a car culture nation. There's no denying that. Los Angeles is definitely a city best served by car. No denying that. But it doesn't mean you just get rid of a train system. They kept buses, of course, but buses don't have the same romance. So they lay out the lines for the new one. A lot of them do follow the old right-of-ways. For example, that bridge I told you about. And the other connection I was going to tell you was if you watch Reservoir Dogs, when all the characters, Mr. Black, Mr. Pink, Mr. Brown, Mr. White, are panicking after the diamond heist, spoiler alert, goes south, and they're all trying to meet back at that little meeting place. There's a point at which one of them, I can't remember who it is, I think it's Steve Buscemi's character, is going down what looks like an alley between some houses. Then he turns a corner and he carjacks a lady, steals her car to get over to the warehouse. That little alley he's going down is one of the right-of-ways. It is where the present-day Gold Line goes right through Highland Park, the neighborhood kind of very close to where I live. There you go. There's your little pop culture reference. So if Tarantino wanted to film that scene today on that same location, he'd have to do it after a train went by, because otherwise Steve Buscemi would be crushed by a train. Anyway, okay. So they lay down the lines. We'll get back to it, guys. We'll get back to it. They lay down the lines. They put down the map. They published it in the LA Times, I guess. They put it on the websites back in the 80s, before I lived here. It was already a problem before I got here. And the train doesn't go where everybody would probably want to go who would ride a train. They didn't do a great job of it. They're trying to fix that now. And one of the most glaring mistakes was, one, there was no train that went all the way to the beach. You couldn't go to the beach. Los Angeles, California. What is our most famous thing? Okay, Hollywood. Great. What's our second most famous thing? Okay, really bad traffic. Okay, what's our third most famous? Okay, gang warfare. Okay, what's our fifth most famous thing? The OJ chase. Okay, what's our sixth most famous thing? Probably Disneyland. What's our seventh most famous? Coyotes. We have a lot of coyotes. The Hollywood sign. Griffith Observatory. Okay. Oh, the La Brea Tar Pits. Okay. Okay, somewhere on that list has to be, we're a beachfront city on the beautiful Pacific Ocean. Cold, but still beautiful. I told you guys that it's cold here, right? Yeah. If you ever want to go to a really nice beach vacation and be able to swim a lot, you can come out here. You'll get used to the water eventually, but don't come out here and go, oh, beautiful, warm California water. The air will be warm. The water will be cold because it's coming down from Alaska. Got to go to the East Coast, where I'm from, where you can go in the water in North Carolina or even in Maryland in the middle of July, and the water will be like 78 degrees, maybe even 80 something. I've been to the beach in Florida in like November, and on the lifeguard stand, it would give like, just the situation: high tide, low tide, water temp, wave condition, 80 degrees in like November, which isn't great. Granted, we all want. I'm digressing a lot today. We all want to be able to go in the water at the beach, but we want it to be a little refreshing. And when I would go in Florida, when I lived there, I didn't go to the beach a lot because I didn't live at the beach. I had to drive, an hour and a half to get there. It's nice, but you want a little bit of refreshment. Because a couple times I went into the water in Florida, and I was like, ooh, it's almost like bath water. This isn't refreshing at all. Kind of weird. I don't know what it is in Lake Michigan. You folks have a lovely beachfront right there in Chicago. People up in Seattle, of course, are dealing with the same water current we are here down in California, with the exception that your air is probably mostly cooler than ours. So it is not as shocking, probably, right, for you guys. Whereas down here, it's just like, it's cold, it's July, why is the water cold? I'm exaggerating. Cold. When I say cold, I mean it's in the 60s. Is 60 cold? No. But when it's water and you're in it. Okay. So, the powers that be designed the metro. Doesn't go to the beach. Doesn't go all the way to the airport. Now, I already explained that the airport area at LAX, you haven't been here, it's pretty congested. It's not a suburban area airport like O'Hare, like SeaTac is a suburban area airport. SeaTac has a great train, goes right to it. O'Hare has a train. Oh, it's awesome. It's in the basement of Terminal 2 or 3. It's not Terminal 1 where I come in and out of. I can't ride it anyway to get all the way to where I need to go. Ooh, I just got a whiff of Lucy poop. Lucy, it's okay. Dogs have to poop. Um, didn't go to the airport. So now they're fixing that. They already fixed it going to the beach. You can now take the train all the way to Santa Monica. You get off the train. You are literally 2 blocks from that famous pier, the famous Pacific Pier you see all the time whenever the Rams or the Chargers or the Dodgers are playing somebody on national TV. They always show the locations. What is it in your city? What does your city show? That's interesting. That'd be like a fun trivia question. Except it's more of a matter, well, it's not a matter of opinion. There's some factual things, right? And I kind of digressed before I said the premise of what I'm talking about is when you're watching the Rams, well, the Super Bowl, which of course was here, the Rams played in it and won. Go Rams. During the commercial break, coming back from commercial, they show the community, right? They always show, here's the city of, in this case, Los Angeles. And of course, LA, you see the Hollywood sign, right? You see the Pacific Pier sign. That's Santa Monica. It's technically not Los Angeles, but it's still down here. What else? Grauman's Chinese Theater, the Griffith Observatory. We have a pretty recognizable skyline here. People eating tacos. What would it be? Okay, Seattle, you know what you're going to see? You're going to see the Space Needle. You're going to see that monorail, which is kind of, I know, right? Seattle people, I'm sorry, but, right? It never. Remember that Simpsons episode where they tried to talk the city of Springfield into buying a monorail because it was kind of set up like a little Music Man thing where he was conning the whole city because monorails, there was this phase where some cities were adding them in and then realizing they didn't really serve the community at all and they were this weird defunct thing. Thanks, babe. That's kind of what that was. And I think although Seattle put its monorail in, right, to service that World's Fair, which is where that Space Needle thing showed up. Marie just dropped me off a guava and cheese pastry from a place in Glendale called Porto's, famous bakery restaurant. I think they're Greek. Porto's? Yeah, Greek. No, because they sell Cubans. They're Cuban. Greek, Cuban? Nowhere near each other. Anyway, so LAX is like a construction zone right now because of they finally are making a metro connection, which takes you all the way into the airport. Now, granted, from my house, I'd have to get on 1, 2, 3, I think 4 different trains to get there, and it would take like an hour and a half. But I'm probably going to do it once it's open. One of these weekends, I'll just plan ahead. Like, okay, let's just do it. Save money. It'll only cost me the fare of the ticket, which is, I think these days metro here in LA is like $240 for a trip, and save the environment. I'm not in a bus which is belching out. I know you're thinking, but Brian, what powers the metro? And probably nuclear. Knowing our air quality laws here in California, which are very strict, we're probably powered by a nuclear plant somewhere. Okay, so anyway, and I'm back home, guys. I went on a little journey of digression there, and I am back. I was trying to tell you about riding the bus to the airport. Great, it's awesome. Riding the bus home, not so great, because you can't time it right. When I ride the bus to the airport, Maria drops me off 15 minutes before my bus. I say goodbye. I walk to the bus, get on, I go. Down there, the bus schedule is a little nebulous. They have a loosey-goosey schedule. It's supposed to be at Terminal 1 at X, and then you have to do the math on when it's going to do the little turn and get over to Terminal 7. And here's the other problem, guys. When I was riding it home, and I did it a couple times, but a few other times, I'm waiting for it, bus would come and not even stop. Kind of wave at us, kind of do one of this with their hands. They were full. That's right. When you get on the bus at this train station, it's not full. It's an empty bus, and it's never full. I've never taken the bus to the airport and have it be packed. It's always like maybe half full. You know, there's nothing little about me. I know that. Now, who let Lucy out? And we just put her in because we're afraid she's gonna. Who let you out? Who let you out? You cute little freak, you. Come here. Let the people see you. Oh, I guess you can't see. I'll bring her. There she is. There she is. Extra Lucy love this morning. Okay, Lucy, go somewhere and put hair everywhere. Hairy dog. So I get off the plane yesterday, and every week that Maria's dropped me off on the bus, the plan is to take the bus home. I'm going to do the bus. I'm going to do the bus. I'm going to do the bus. I leave the airport. I go through the same door almost every time. I'm right near the bus stop. I peek over at the bus stop area, and I see how many people are standing there. If there's nobody there at all, and I've sleuthed this out, that means the bus has come and gone very recently, and I'll be standing there for about 25 minutes. They have an app on the phone. You can find where the bus is. The app almost never works very well. And it even says how many seats are left in each bus. It's supposed to, but it never works. I've seen a bus show up, and I look at the app, and there's the little icon supposed to show this is the bus. Oh, it's horrible. You want to have a little fun? Search LAX Flyaway and count how many times you have to search and click and search before you finally get to a place where you can buy tickets. I think it's 4. Yeah, very, very. Hey, if you're listening, hire a geek. Hire some nerd who knows what they're doing. They hired somebody that just kind of slapped it together like, oh, human brains, they'll just keep clicking and searching. No. LAX Flyaway, schedule, tickets. Should be the first 2 things you see when it's a travel-based thing. Okay. So I get off the plane yesterday. I'm gonna, and here's my thought process. That's really all I was gonna try to tell you this whole time. I'm really just trying to get to the point of telling you the thought process of my brain when I get home. When I'm getting on the plane at O'Hare, up at SeaTac, wherever, I'm thinking, okay, I'll get back, I'll get on the bus. It's $10, save a lot of money, get home, awesome. The closer I get, I start to go, but a cab's going to be faster, Uber's going to be faster, but we'll see. And I get off the plane, and I look, and I see there's nobody there yesterday. The bus had obviously just come. It's going to be another half an hour now. And I got in early. Oh, that's how this all started. It's always fun, guys, to play the digression game with Brian, is to remember the thing that started the door that I opened. And this time it was, I think I said, I got in early yesterday. I think that's what I said. I think I said I got in earlier than the few weeks prior. About 3:30 in the afternoon. We actually were delayed. We were supposed to get in at like 3:30 and then, or 3:15, but then as we were leaving O'Hare, it said our flight's going to be 15 minutes early. We're like, oh, great, I'll get there at 3. But then we got delayed and we got close to L.A. because there were some thunderstorms in California, and I think Mark was even talking about those. Our plane had to avoid them. Yeah, doing a lot of this stuff out over the desert. I know, thunderheads over the desert. Weird, right? So every Monday, I leave that terminal, and my brain goes, bus, cab, Uber. Because yes, I should save money. Yes, I should be careful about my travel expenses. Yes, finances being what they are, and you got to be careful. You never know, and I'm on a different stage at this gig that I'm at these days, and things, we'll go into it, but, the numbers change. I have a career and a life and a job which is not a regular income, and I should take that into account. So this is the lesson that I've learned, my friends. I should force myself to stay there and ride the bus. But I didn't yesterday. I always bring up the Uber app. I check the going rate. As you know, the Uber rate fluctuates depending on busyness and supply and demand. The airport seemed very dead yesterday compared to later in the day. I mean, thousands of people, of course, but not as many thousands of people. So it was looking good for an affordable rate. And it was. It was an affordable rate. I won't tell you about the rate, but it was affordable. It was cheaper than a cab. I know exactly what it costs to take a cab to my house from the airport, because a cab ride is always the same. as you guys mostly know. Different cab companies might charge different, but I think there's a standard to it, and the trip never really changes. It's always the same trip, and it always is X amount of dollars. So whenever the Uber is less than that, I'll often do that. So I'm waiting for the Uber, and their app works. You can see the driver coming, and then she stops. I notice she stops. I'm at where am I? I'm at whatever. I'm at 3B, the little curbside thing. You have to walk over to it. You have to walk. It's a little thing they put just next to Terminal 1 at LAX to get all the cabs and Ubers over there because they were super congesting that roadway, which I described to you earlier. That was their solution, and so far it's not a big deal. It takes me about 2-3 minutes to walk over there. Not a big deal. There's even a bus that'll take you, but I can walk. No big deal. And I see the driver stop. I'm over at 3B, and she stops at, or I'm at 3C, and she's at 3A, whatever, and she sees me. I'm represented by a little dot on the map. She knows that I'm probably up ahead of her to the right, not that far away, but about 100 meters away. I'm like, why did she stop? So I walked down. I go, okay, I'll just walk to her. I think it's her. Couldn't really see her face in the little thing. A Chinese name. It turned out it was a lady. So I get down there, and she sees me, and I give her a little wave. Brian Howard, looking, and she goes, yes, in broken English. And she apologized. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I had an accident. Her front windshield had a big old gnarly crack in it, like a rock hit it or something, a brick. And she said, I'm sorry, I had to. I'm trying really hard just not do the accent, but usually whenever I encounter somebody with an accent and I tell a story about them, I do the accent, but I'm not sure these days if that's offensive or not. It's like, yeah, but they did have an Italian accent, or they did have a Mexican accent, or they did have a Chinese accent, and I just want you guys to be in the story with me. Whatever. So I won't do it. Because somebody's gonna go, don't do that. So she says, she didn't really have an accident. She used the word accident. What she had was something hit her windshield. That's not an accident, really. But so I had to take a picture of it, and I had to send it to the Uber people and the insurance and all that. And I didn't want to come up to where you were. I wanted to be down here and do it before coming to get you. So I'm sorry, you had to walk down here. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, are you still going to take me, or do I need to get another? She said, oh, no. We're still going. I just want to let you know what I was doing. And inside her car, there were still shards of those little tiny itty bitty shards of glass on her dashboard. And I quickly said to her, I said, be careful, because I've made that mistake. Maybe you have too. When something breaks glassy around you, and you see those little itty bitty bits that look like about as big as like a chunk of kosher salt, and you just kind of want to wipe them away. Don't do that. It's glass. You're going to cut your finger. And I said to her, careful, don't wipe. I said, oh, okay. And so we leave the airport, and as we're winding our way out of that little Uber area, getting over to the Sepulveda Boulevard, which leads to the 105, if you know LA, and off to the 110, off home, she hits a curb. She climbs a curb pretty aggressively, and I was like, ooh. Excuse me. Flippers all have accents that they enjoy when I retell the story. Oh, okay. Well, she had a Chinese accent. So she climbs the curb, and the whole way home, I'm watching this comedy special that I'd started watching on the airplane. I'm finishing it up before I get home, because I know that I'm going to have to pay attention to the family when you get home. You can't say, hey, hi, wife, daughter. Anyway, I was watching this Bill Burr here. I noticed that she's got like 3 phones going. She's got the one that's got the directions on it, the one that's the Uber one, and then she's got like a third one. She's got the third one kind of now holding it down here. She's driving. And she's talking, and I guess she sounds like she's talking to her insurance agent or something, or the Uber people. And I got the headphones in, so I'm listening to this comedy bit that I'm watching. But I'm like, God, I really wish she'd just drive. Well, whatever, I didn't say anything. We come down to we're in my neighborhood now. We hit the freeway. And she climbs another curb. Now, she's in a Toyota Corolla, not a big vehicle like my truck. I climb curbs a lot in my truck because I got a big-ass truck. So it's like, trying to cut that corner a little tight. And I'm lazy, and I just don't turn the wheel. Whatever, I do it too. But if I were a professional driver, limo, Uber, cab, don't climb curbs. And and I was, oh, and she looked in the rear view and she like checked on me, and I kind of gave her a look like, all right, now, what's going on here? She dropped me off. Everything was fine. But um, I don't know. I didn't review her yet. I'm not going to. I don't give bad reviews to Uber drivers. I'm like, they're doing their thing. I don't need to. Very unhappy. I'm just not that guy. I'm although I should have done it this weekend. I swear to you, I should have done this weekend. As you guys know, I tell you this. I stay at certain hotels that I like around the country when I'm doing shows, and I make sure I try to always have one that has its own restaurant so that I can come home after a hot day. We were going to talk about heat, and we still will. Um, and I don't want to have to leave the hotel. Go back, take a shower, go to the little hotel restaurant. Don't have to leave the building. Have a few brewskis, watch whatever sports is on the thing. Hopefully, no one will talk to me, or I'll have a panic attack. And then go back to my hotel room and go to bed. And I ordered this thing that I order a lot when I go there. It's just the thick noodles, the pappardelle noodles, mushroom thing. It's really really good, like a mushroom sauce. And it arrives, and normally it's what's the big flat mushroom called? Portobello. It's normally those cut into strips with the big fat noodles, and the noodles has like like a mushroomy sauce, which we all know what that color is. That kind of light gray, brownish sauce. The color is not very appetizing when you think about mushroom sauces, right? But they're delicious. This time it comes, it's little button mushrooms, okay, and the the sauce, I swear to God, was just that yellow turkey gravy that you get in the can or a jar whenever you're the same kind of yellow gravy that's on a pile of mashed potatoes next to little slices of turkey at a diner. It was that. I swear to God, it was that. I saw it. The guy set it down. I'm kind of known at this bar grill now at this hotel. They don't know me by name. I don't give my name out, but they know me as the tall guy that shows up on weekends in July and August. The same bartenders, they know my drink order. I sit down, they drop the beer in front of me. I've told you this. It's kind of one of the nice things about being a regular on the road. Did I complain? No, I didn't. I was starving. Did it taste good? Not as good as it tasted fine, but nowhere near as good as the original dish. Will I order it again? I might. Not this weekend. I'm at a different hotel this weekend, but maybe in August when I come back to Bristol, I'll give them one more try. And if it shows up with yellow gravy, ooh, ooh. I don't know how I do that. My dad was very kind and never complained. He just, you know, there's a phrase. What is it? You get what you get, and you don't get upset. That was the phrase that we used in our daughter's preschool. A way of saying, we're all going to go to this, we're having a birthday party, there's going to be cake and snacks and pizza. Everybody gets what you get. Don't get upset. If you want more, different thing, they have the blue cup, but I have the pink cup, and, drink out of your blue cup. Calm the hell down. But to a point, right? Should I have said something? Yes. Yes, I should. I should have just looked at it and gone, I'm sorry. And I knew the bartender's name, the guy that knows me. His name is Carlos. I would have gone, Carlos, is this how this doesn't, I've had this before numerous times. You've seen me order it. This isn't what it normally looks like. And I would have been very kind and says, so I don't want this anymore. I'll have whatever, meatloaf instead. And he would have gone, you know what? No problem. And he would have been totally cool about it. But here's the deal. Because of my social anxiety, I now worry about that guy's conversation. Oh, dumb guy at the bar. Who the fuck, Even though this dude, and by the way, I was a waiter. I never did that. People would complain and return things, and I'd return them. I never went back to the kitchen and said, asshole. Other waiters did, though. So, But do I care? I'm really asking, do I care? And why should I? Why should you care if somebody... This is my therapy day, by the way. So when this video is over, I'll be setting up for therapy. And so maybe I'll bring it up with her. Why do I care? Why do I not return something? Because I don't want to offend them. The menu describes the dish. I've had it at this place 10 times over the past 4 or 5 seasons out there. I enjoy it. It's my pasta dish whenever I want to avoid eating too much heavy meat, even though pasta's pretty heavy too. But I usually don't put protein in it. I just have the mushrooms and the vegetables that come with it. Feel good about myself. Even though I know a lot of you that are smarter than me with nutrition know that I'm probably eating a cream sauce, which is and the pasta, too much carbs, the body doesn't burn the fat. There's a whole thing. You can't eat anything, guys. Somebody's going to bitch about something. It doesn't matter. They're going to. They're going to say, don't drink Coke because it'll dissolve a tooth. If you put a tooth in a cup of Coke, it'll dissolve the tooth. As we all know, we've talked about it before. That's complete bullshit. I don't know who started that wives' tale. That is not what happens. You don't believe me? Do it. Mythbusters did it, and it did not dissolve the tooth after being in there maybe after being in there for 100 years or something, but not after like a week or whatever the myth is. Lauren says, we are trained at an early age that we are responsible for everyone else's feelings. Oh, okay, and they are. This creates an enormous amount of, yeah, you're right, Lauren. Yeah. Why did you say that? You made little Billy cry. You made little Jimmy cry. Yeah. But here's the thing. That's different though, isn't it, Lauren? I totally good point. First of all, Lauren, great point. But not wanting to return something because you don't want to make them feel bad is different. I will absolutely not do something to make them cry. I don't want to make another kid cry if I'm in elementary school, right? But in the case of returning a food, I'm right. I've been around people, I've had relationships with people who are just crazy for the returns. They will return things not Maria. Maria will return things, but she's not one of the crazy ones. I did date a gal once that was, boy, you didn't get it exactly. Excuse me, sir, ma'am. She wasn't in let me talk to the manager type, but she certainly would say, maybe I've told you guys this story before, but my favorite moment I ever returned an item. I didn't return it, but I was in a super confident frame of mind at this restaurant. I was with friends. It was after the Ohio Renaissance Fair. We were at a restaurant in the town right near the fair. I think the town was called Jefferson. Correct me on that if I'm wrong. And I order a dish which it was a penne dish, a pasta dish with chicken, black beans, supposed to have onions in it, chives, the little green, onions, tomato, cream sauce, the usual stuff that you'd put in that, like 6 or 7 ingredients. It came, dropped off, it had the penne, the tube pasta, the cream sauce, and the chicken, and maybe a little bit of the chives. No beans, no onions, no tomatoes, da-da-da-da-da-da. And I went, oh, excuse me. And I was in a confident mood. I wasn't being rude. I wasn't being cocky. And I said, I'm sorry, I ordered this, and I still had the menu. I ordered this, and I showed him the description of it. I showed him the photograph of it, and it has like 6 ingredients. This has like 3 of those 6. Oh, we're sorry, sir. We were out of the other ones. And I said very confidently, then you should not have served it. You should have said that you can't serve that to me. That you don't, or told me right up front, and I would have said yes or no, but don't just bring something out that doesn't have all the ingredients. That's messed up. And the guy was like, and it was the manager. I think the manager did come over, and he says, "I'm sorry, on what we can, what can I do to help?" And I said, without missing a beat, "I will be having a free dessert tonight." And they went, "Yes, you will," and they walked away. And I had a big old piece of chocolate cake that we all shared. And I said it with complete confidence because I knew I was right. Don't do that. Damn dish has 7 ingredients in it. You bring me the thing with there's 3 of the 7. What the hell? Who do you think you are? So I never say the name of the restaurant I stay at Bristol for obvious reasons. I try to keep my privacy private, but I'll give them another chance. I'll probably order that dish again when I come back in August, and fingers crossed. And if it comes wrong again, I will take a picture of it. I might even shoot a quick video of it. Say, guys, this is what I was talking about. Hey, speaking of videos, I just want to let you know because I noticed the other day, I upload videos. There's me in the car with Arnie Parrott. Go ahead and check that out. Driving to a Mexican restaurant 2 nights ago. Had all kinds of tech glitches that I had to figure out. but I think the preview page isn't showing up on Patreon. At least it wasn't. I didn't check it today, but every now and then when I upload a video from YouTube, the preview page, the page, a little still image of me doing this or that kind of thing, it won't load. But whenever I put a video on Patreon, trust me, the video is definitely there. If you just get that weird gray screen, but it has a little play button, click the play button. It's fine. The video is going to play. So there you go. Just want to let you guys know that. I want you thinking, oh, did he screw it up again? No, I didn't screw it up again. The video's there. I think I put the link over. Patreon's got this thing where if you put the link over a minute earlier than you should have until it's done processing the little landing page image, which YouTube is still working on in the background, whatever, fine. It doesn't update itself so well. Frustrating. All right. So, anyway, I was going to talk about the heat. Bristol Renaissance Faire, lovely Renaissance Faire, hot and humid. And I'm wearing a red shirt right now, which is rare. I know you guys, Maria just got me this shirt, so I figured I'd wear it. I might even wear it tomorrow night. I don't know if I look good in red. I mean, I got blue eyes, right? When you have blue eyes, they say always wear blue because it makes your eyes look good. Okay. Why did I bring up the red shirt? Oh, because if I took this shirt off, which I'm not going to, I'd be red right here and other locations. You get swampy at a sweaty gig. What are my methods to combat that? Well, obviously there's products. There's things you can buy, things you can do, and I have not figured it out. Now, somebody on one of my comments over the weekend, it might have been one of you guys, talked about a thing called the monkey butt thing, and yes, we were aware of that product here at the Howard household. We bought it for other reasons. I think we bought it for the kid back in the day, but I'll look that up. And of course, they make that runner's stuff. It's like a lube for your body. The problem, of course, is your body is constantly Gold Bond. Yeah. Oh, but Kelly Rose, you bring up a good point. I was going to get to that. So put a pin in Kelly Rose's comment about Gold Bond. But the runner stuff might work. Now, the problem, of course, is that your skin is rubbing against the fabric of your shirt. In a perfect world, all the skin and all your joints, the main areas are your armpits and your crotch. That's it. Those are the only areas you need to consider yourself. And mostly it's your armpits, I'm happy to say. It's not the crotch as much. There needs to be like a layer of fabric, that's maybe something that sticks. Maybe like an adhesive thing. I slap, but then I have hairy armpits. So, oh, God. Anyway, and that's the problem. All day you're walking, you're moving, you're gesturing, you're wearing your little Renaissance-y cotton shirt that's now soaking wet with water and sweat. And it's rubbing, like right now that hurts a bit because I'm rubbing this shirt against my body. And at the end of the day, it sucks. Now, Kelly Rose brings up Gold Bond powder, which I got into a couple years back because I used to use a product called Crew-X. Crew-X is like a jock itchy type aerosol. They make a powder too, but at the time they only made like an aerosol can. And I was concerned I wasn't going to be allowed to take it on the airplane to fly home. I didn't want to buy another can every week, right? So I said, I got to find another product. And I discovered Gold Bond. Bad news, and it's supposed to be in the mid-90s. Yeah, okay. Well, Lauren, I'm not there this weekend, buddy. So I don't care what the weather is this weekend. Wait. I'm going to check my schedule here. Wait, what week is it? Yeah. You made me nervous there for a second. Next weekend. Yeah, we don't care about this weekend. We care about the weekend after. But thank you, Lauren. But not as bad, Lauren. Not as bad because not as humid. Not as humid. Not as humid. The heat doesn't matter. I've done hot fairs. Southern California Fair gets hot. But I don't have this problem. Okay, back to the Gold Bond. Gold Bond. Lauren, he's still mine this weekend. He's still mine. Oh, he's still mine. Okay, whatever. No. It's next weekend, Lauren. Okay, so I figured, okay, I can't fly with this spray. I think you probably can, But I wasn't sure, and I didn't want to risk it. I didn't want to be taken. I didn't want to buy it because it's not cheap, and have it be taken away. I go, God damn it! And I want it always with me, just so I can even be at the airport and go, okay, I'm getting a little before I get on the plane. So I discovered the gold bond, like Kelly said. But here's the trick with the gold bond: you got to do the exact right amount and the exact right application. Now we're going to get a little bit. We're going to talk about the human body here. If you're uncomfortable, I know I'm talking to you guys. Of course, you're fine with this, but still, I'm going to say this. I believe I have this video on public this morning. Just as every now and then I put one of these on public. If you're watching for Patreon, please click over to YouTube so I get the extra viewing hours so I can eventually monetize YouTube. You guys know I'm still working on that in the background always. Okay, you can overdo the gold bonds. A little bit of a light dusting, reapplied throughout the day on dry skin. Now that's the thing, it's got to be dry. So you got to take your shirt off, have a dry towel handy, dab, 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 dry, dry, as dry as you can get it, then a little in your hand, da, 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 pop, 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 pop. Now I've seen some people, there's a funny scene in the movie that Paul Reiser did with, God darn it, where he's hanging with his dad. And it showed the slow motion, his dad, played by Peter Falk, talking himself up, and he has like a little talc ball, a little sock. I guess you got a clean sock. You put your talc in there, and then you just kind of, rather than just put it on your hand, because then your hand has sweat on it already, and it will, Okay, so maybe I should get one of those. I mean, it's just a sock. Just get a clean sock, a little talc in it. 2 nurses in the chat. Bring on the anatomy and biology. Well, okay. So with the gold bond, you can't. If you overdo that, you will over dry. And if the area is already got a little bit of redness going on, over drying it hurts just as bad as if you did nothing. It makes it, I think, worse. Now, I wear like athletic underwear underneath, like boxer briefs, which I'm wearing right now. That's what I wear. I don't know why I got into boxer briefs rather than the tighty whities or the boxers, but boxer briefs is what I wear. But for this, what we're talking about, they're the best method, and here's why. Okay, we're dealing with a man now, not a woman. Man, of course, has his dangly bits on the outside. The boxer briefs, because there's the waist, the legs, crotch, and the fabric goes down the leg a little bit, a few inches, you got that extra fabric, which you can then tuck around your stuff. And in doing so, your thighs are now not touching each other. There's a layer of fabric between everything, between junk and thigh, and junk and thigh, and thigh and thigh, and thigh and junk. So you got to get a little bit of gold bond all throughout that. So here's the method that I got perfect this weekend for at least the downstairs area, the undercarriage. You put the powder on the shorts. You never touch your skin with it. Well, you're going to touch your skin with it eventually. And then every now and then, when you think you need to, before you go out on stage, for example, I'm not going to show you what I'm doing with my hands, but you tuck and knead, and you're kind of pushing that athletic-y type, fabric designed to wick away moisture and stuff. You're getting it into the crevasses, and it works fine. I'm happy to say a little bit of walking to my hotel room Sunday night. If you're walking behind me, yeah, I'm walking a little weird. I'm being delicate. By the time I get up the next day, it's okay. I the past 2 weekends I've been sleeping without underwear on, which is for me rare. I don't sleep naked. Maybe you guys do. I've never been a naked sleeper. I don't like it. Well, I'm getting used to it though. I don't know. It's not. I don't know. I think a lot of ladies sleep naked, but a lot of dudes I know. We don't talk. We don't gather around the water cooler. Hey, how do you sleep? I don't know. I'll tell you how you sleep. First of all, I work alone, and I don't have a water cooler, and well, why none of that analogy I just made makes any sense at all with me. But I tend to always wear boxer briefs to bed. But over the weekends at Bristol, especially where it's super damn humid, I'll sleep, and I try to lay down like an X, like I'm one of those warning guys from the Forbidden Zone in I'll make this reference work. Planet of the Apes. There we go. I remembered it. I'm like a big scarecrow with his legs spread. And if I had a fan, it'd be aimed right at my crotch. Keep the room nice and cool. And it's fine. The armpits, you can't do that with because there's no way of making my little Renaissance-y shirt snug like that, and you don't want to because it's thicker fabric. It's not the kind of fabric designed to be near delicate skin. It's my doublet, my vest is also pushing up there, so I have that unlaced quite a bit to make it a looser pocket right there. I'm doing everything I can, but still, the crotch is an issue, sure. The worst part is the armpits. Oh, and it sucks. And I don't like it. No me gusta. No quiero armpit. No quiero armpit rash. That's what I should say. So, I don't know. I'm looking at what you guys say in various solutions and things. Naked and starfishing it across the whole bed for the wind. Yeah, well, that's what I'm doing, Sarah. I'm naked, starfishing it. Starfishing it. That's what it is. Starfishing. What did I say? Oh, I said, you guys remember that from the original Planet of the Apes series? There was an area where they didn't want you to go. And the reason why they didn't want you to go, of course, because beyond that area was evidence that, that this was in fact Earth and that man used to be the dominant, I was going to say Homo sapien. No, man is Homo sapien, right? Simian? Simian means ape, right? All the apes. But what do we call the apes and humans? That family of critter is called. Somebody's going to tell me, hopefully. Right? I forgot. I'm trying to remember my junior high school biology. Remember the phylums and the families? You had that little mnemonic. That means number. Mnemonic device. Only thing else you could do would be to thin layer of Vaseline to decrease friction, but then you would have to worry about getting on your clothes. Exactly. Besides, when you're dealing with that kind of humidity, I don't want to add more moisture to my body. And Vaseline is more moisture. I got something removed. I got a few things removed. I'm getting more stuff removed from my body. And the doctor said, okay, to treat the thing, we're going to keep a Band-Aid on it for a few days. As you can see, it's this little white thing right here. I'm not wearing a Band-Aid anymore. It's pretty much scabbed up and cleaned up. But she said, put either this thing on it. I never heard of that product before in my life. And she said, or Vaseline. I said, I have Vaseline. Turns out I don't have Vaseline. No, we do. But I didn't put any on. So anyway, last week at Bristol was a lot of fun. The audience wasn't as big as it was the week before, I think mostly because it got pretty damn humid and gross both days. Maybe it was bigger. I don't know. I'm doing better at that stage. The Castle Keep, I'm starting to my audience is slowly finding me. They're like, oh, you're over here. Yeah, I'm over here. And it's fine, and we'll get through it, and it is what it is. What are you gonna do? Just on a kind of personal business level of that. Not that it's any of you guys in the fob world, but please, I sometimes ask you, hey, don't forget to tell the fair you like my show. And I know a lot of you guys do that, and I really appreciate that. But do me a favor, because it did get back to me that some people were complaining that I was on that stage. You have every right to express yourself however you want, and I told the person, my immediate report above me, I said I didn't tell anybody to complain, which I didn't. I never did. I made little jokes about the weird distractions at that particular stage, but I never said, and you know what, it's their fault, I want you guys to get on and write nasty letters. Apparently a few people took it upon themselves to say, why is Bruno on this stage? What's the matter with you? And they didn't tell me what they said, but they implied that there's complaints. There you go. So do me a favor, at least you guys. You guys are my core group, Patreons. I really appreciate you guys. Careful on the complaints. Always tell a fair that you love my show. You can say, hey, he was better when he was on that other stage, or the show worked better, or whatever. But don't. I think you guys know what I'm saying. I think already you're like, ding, got it, Brian. And if it was you that did the complaint, you're like, ding, okay, I won't do that again. And don't confess here. It's totally cool. And don't reach out to me and go, oh, I'm so sorry, that was me. It's okay. It's okay. I don't mind. But still, the way this industry works, you know, you piss off the wrong person or you trigger the wrong person and you're out. So, and these days, man, everybody can communicate with everybody. It's nuts. Which brings up another whole subject, but we're kind of running out of time here. Maybe we'll talk about this later this week, but I'll save that. I'll save that for later. I won't even telegraph it because I do that a lot. I kind of go, oh, there's this subject that I'm going to tell you about. Okay, right now we'll talk about for 4 minutes really fast. Just wait. I'll make a little note to myself. Remember to talk about blah-bitty blue-bitty blue the next time we chat. Talk about it. Okay, guys, we're going to wrap things up. Thanks for having coffee with me. As we just clarified with Lauren, I will be at the Washington Midsummer Renaissance Fair, not this weekend, but the weekend after that. The weekend of the 6th and 7th, I believe, is opening week of that gig of August. If you live in the Chicago, Milwaukee area, I will be at the Bristol Renaissance Fair this coming weekend of the 29th through 30th, whatever, the end of July. I'll be there both days at the Castle Keep stage. 4 shows, including Time Has No Meaning, Go Nuts, including the show I do with Mooney every evening at 6 p.m. over at the Globe stage. Thanks for your continued support and coming out there. Yeah, Lauren, you would have shown up. There'd be construction going on. You'd be waiting in line for tickets. You'd see, you know, cars going by and tractors. You'd hear lots of hammering and nailing. You're going, boy, they're really cutting it close. They're supposed to be open in an hour. And somebody would come out to you and go, can I help you, sir? And Lauren would go, I'm here to come to see the Renaissance Fair. I said, well, then you have 7 more days to plan that. You would have figured it out, Lauren. You'd be halfway to the fair and your wife would have hit you on the shoulder and gone, you idiot. It's next week. Go to a car show instead. See? I'm sure there's one. So come out this weekend at Bristol. If you are a recent addition to the Patreon world, hey, how you doing? I'm Brian, the guy that plays Bruin. You know, Bruin. TV's Bruin. And this is my Patreon, so thanks very much for being a part of it. We do videos like this, chilling out. We do some private other content that you can only experience here on Patreon. And also by being a Patreon of mine, you get the strong, confident feeling of knowing that you are supporting artists, not just me, other artists out there in the world that make Patreon one of their upfront ways of connecting with their audiences. And thank you for your continued support to help make blue-collar entertainers such as myself vital, or at least a little more vital than we would be without this kind of stuff. So welcome if you are a new patron. Later on today, I'm going to put up a post about song requests, because tomorrow night we do a show over on Facebook called Beer and Songs with Brian. But I let the patrons get first crack at requesting a song from me, because damn it, you should. And then Does It Juggle on Thursday, probably. We had to skip last week because I had some other personal stuff to take care of, so I'm sorry about that if you were excited for it, like, oh my God, he's going to juggle on Thursday morning. I get to watch that. And then, oh, where the hell is he? I wasn't here. I was doing stuff. Okay, guys, thanks for talking with me about trains, ill-conceived ideas of mass transit. What else are we talking about? Airports, Uber drivers running over curbs, the redness in my armpits and crotch, and the best way to dust your junk. You don't want it to be like a powdered donut. Okay, that's what I'll close with. You don't want it to be like a jelly donut with the powder. You want it less than that. There you go. Perfect amount. Have a good rest of your day, guys. Bye-bye.